The Senators' long road trip continues in Arizona. With the call, Bob Cole and Greg Millen. Fellas.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. Well, right at the halfway mark of their seasons, and both Arizona Coyotes and Ottawa Senators are now in a chase for the rest of the year to gain a playoff spot. It all starts tonight. Craig Anderson, game number 27 for Craig. He's had exactly 500, 10, 10, and 6. He's got a fine .926 save percentage. Neil Smith also playing in his 27th game for Arizona. He's been better. Goals against average 3.46, and save percentage is at 8.86. Coming to center ice, Chip Chara for Arizona against Kyle Turris of Ottawa. Turris has Chiasson and MacArthur. Carlson and Mathot are the two defensemen. Reeder and Korpikoski on the wings for Chip Chara. Michael Stone and Ekman Larson for Arizona Coyotes. Ottawa in the white jerseys on the road. The goalie is out to play the puck. Two forecheckers gave him a problem or two, and they keep the puck in. Dumped in around the net. Carlson will take over and lift a high one down through center. He hoped to get it out there and couldn't do it. And the play goes offside at the blue line.
Well, Dave Cameron, the coach of the Ottawa Senators, still struggling to get his team to be more consistent. They didn't like the game, the coaching staff in Colorado, even though his team outchanced the Avalanche and had better chances to score, but there was those big errors that cost him, and then of course those 3 screen goals as well on Craig Anderson to start the game.
Vermette, Doan, and Erat for Arizona, and they're going to pound the puck in again. Winning that face-off at the blue line and the offside call. Senators get it up and down the ice. Pajot is up chasing it. He's got Bobby Ryan and Hoffman on the wings. And they go in on the forecheck rather heavily. Play to Doan, though, and he got the puck up to center ice. Trying to catch up to it. Erat made a pass to the far side. There's Doan. He's going to get the first shot. And the first save is made by Craig Anderson, and there is no rebound.
Well, Craig Anderson's had a spectacular year, but he got yanked in this last game, but you really couldn't blame him. If you take a look at all the goals, I mean, he just plain didn't see them, as the Ottawa Senators did not get in the shooting lane and did not block any shots. Here's a good example here where they just bailed, basically, and you could see the frustration from Anderson afterwards.
Off to the right of the goalie, and Ottawa takes over with Chris Phillips. Getting the puck head off the stick and down inside the Coyotes blue line. Connor Murphy was back in a hurry. Puck is tipped at center, down the ice, inside the Ottawa line. Good collision up there, and Sam Gagner was flattened as he had his head down for long enough. Split second will do it the way they go now.
Left side here. And for Dave Tippett, it's been a frustrating season. He has not had great goaltending, as Smith has had a bit of an off year, a real good player, but he has struggled. And actually, they gave up, at this point last year, they've given up 50 less chances to score this year than they did last year, except their goals against is worse. Go figure.
2 fourth lines on there now. Vitale, Moss, and McMillan for Arizona. Zibanejad, Lazar, and Condra for Ottawa. And a big crowd after the puck in the corner in the Ottawa zone. And they're all rattling the sticks at each other, but finally it comes loose. Gets to the boards again. Thank goodness it was cleared near the blue line. Didn't quite get out. But Lazar will lift one down the ice, and Conrad just could not reach it. Then he took a hard hit when he had his head down looking around before he put his stick on the puck. They let the play run on, and the Sens dump a high one in on the glass. That barely stayed in play. Turning back is Yandel. Fired it off the boards behind his own net. Chris Summers is number 20 on this side for Arizona. Back to Yandel. He goes to the boards in the corner, and now they'll bring it out. Nobody can really move quickly down through the middle. They've choked it off pretty well. MacArthur turns it back up. And they get over the line. MacArthur heads for the net, trying to tip it. Picking them off the boards on the rebound, and he's got Chiasson playing the puck ahead, but that's intercepted and cleared outside the line, so Ottawa will get a chance to tag up as they got possession right away, thanks to Kyle Turris. on the boards for Chiasson, and that's the signal for Ottawa to change. Enough for that line. They've changed them up as we approach the 3-minute mark of the opening period. In over the line was Vermette, dropped it back, a mistake, got down the ice, and the defenseman of Russian. Hoffman took the puck over the line, and the other way for Arizona. So back and forth. They just give it away to each other. Get the length of the ice twice. Nobody near the net on either end. So no score yet in this first period. Bounced over the stick of Murphy and got outside the line. Then knifed back in. Phillips back. Took a look. A little short pass ahead. Pajot was stopped. It's kept in there, and a chance. Quickly. Oh, just missed the far side. It was intercepted and just inside the line. Dangerous play by the Ottawa Senators, clearing the zone, or trying to. A long shot gloved by Anderson. He looked sharp grabbing that blue line shot. It was headed for the top corner too.
Yeah, the Senators get caught in a turnover. Chris Phillips talking to his goaltender right now. A bit of a miscommunication. Then Phillips gets boxed in trying to go through the middle. Everything's fine so far, and then Bobby Ryan just shovels it right to the middle of the ice. And a good chance to score there for the Coyotes.
Tobias Reeder had the chance.
He's been great for them, Bob, so far. One of their best players all season long.
Carlson got the puck out quickly down along that right side. They get the puck in all right. McCulloch in on the boards. Comes out with the puck, turns around twice. Flipped it behind the net. Nobody could pick it up, or you need to make a play back there, and it's dumped away and down the ice again. No icing, it won't reach the line. Carlson has lots of time to start it off. Comes away a little bit, throws the pass up quickly. They're on the move. Legwand took off over the line. Over here, McCulloch tries to catch up, and he's not going to do it. He's upended behind the goal. Play goes right on. Still no score, nearing the 5-minute mark, and now a chance for Arizona. Good play in front by Bodker. Score! A good play all around. And you could almost tell that was coming. And it happened. It came all right. 1-0 Arizona.
Well, they put Bodker on his offside the last game. He got a couple of goals, and this is an interesting play to start off here. No penalty at the other end, and now off this rush, the 3-on-2 starts for Phoenix. Sorry, for Arizona, and there's Bodker there right in the slot. He dances into the middle, and no chance at all for Anderson. And Cowan overcommits, chasing him down on the half boards, and as soon as he does that, Bodker just walks towards the middle, and this kid's been hot the last couple of games.
He made a great move coming in, and they're ahead 1-0. Stopped at the line and kept in by Connor Murphy, but then the second pass over to him was intercepted. No damage was done. Bodker gets the goal. 1-0. Brought back in quickly by David Moss. From the corner, back to the line. The defenseman, Murphy, tried a shot. It was off the net. Anderson was going to take a chance. Gloved it anyway.
Arizona last game against the Winnipeg Jets got a couple of power play goals, and they also got a great individual effort from Bodker here. And here's a good look at how a very similar goal. He dances, then takes it to the net this time, walks right across in a highlight goal. And Bodker was a little cold here the last 3 or 4 weeks and had a great start to the season, and now he is starting to heat up again for the Coyotes.
Well, that's his 12th goal of the season at 4:31 of the first period. And the home team is ahead. Gagne and Lesio assisted on the goal. Senators cleared up there for Chiasson. Made the move outside the line, and the puck gets in deep for MacArthur. Kicked it loose off the boards, tried to play it back. Chiasson comes in to help him. MacArthur got it back. Tough to stop at the line, but they kept it in. Turris couldn't control it, and they had to tag up and carry on. They didn't wait long enough. Carlson brought it in offside.
We're going to have a penalty as well here right at the blue line, I believe, for hooking. We're going to call it holding. And Arizona will go to the penalty box, and it's Martin Erat waltzing off. As he just grabbed onto Carlson right at the blue line and got that free arm out right there.
Ottawa's power play, 21st in the league, 16.1%. Needs to be better than that, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, Arizona killed off all 7 last game against the Winnipeg Jets. As their penalty kill has been not great either.
Turris is going to try to win the face-off. Can't do it. Scramble for the puck on that face-off spot. Cleared down the ice. Far side by Ekman Larsson.
Ottawa an 0 for 28 stretch on the power play. They can't buy a goal.
Senators up on the attack. Up in over the line by Hoffman. And then Turris takes off, go after it. Stopped at the blue line by Hoffman. That right side pass. Shot stopped all right. Knocked loose of the net then. Mike Smith going down, stopped it, couldn't control it. Now Ottawa a chance to set it up again at the line. MacArthur fed it ahead. He'll stay open, get the pass on his skate, rolled it in the slot area. Turris fell but took the shot anyway, and it was blocked easily. They're still in there. Turris again takes a look at the net, delivers a pass. They're back and forth, but outside that rim. It's Turris again, won't shoot it. The shot is gloved easily by Mike Smith. He saw it coming all the way and had no problem grabbing that.
Joe Vitale didn't have a stick, and that's where you want to work on the player that doesn't have his hockey stick. And the Senators don't elect to do that. And then the shot from the point, an easy one for Mike Smith that he saw all the way through. You can see the switch here as Vitale gives his hockey stick to the defenseman, Michael Stone. And they didn't use it very well to their advantage, the Senators on that power play.
Zibanejad trying to win the face-off. It slapped hard on the boards. And that gets down the ice. 53 seconds left in the penalty. Erad is in the box. Taking off is Zibanejad. Got it over the line. Heads for the net. Puck comes there all right, but he fell as he was checked lightly in front of the goal. Off balance anyway. Little run around for it. It comes to the line. And now moving on, Bobby Ryan sliced a pass over. No shot. It'll come from the blue line. The defenseman's shot was blocked easily. It was back out. Carlson once again delivered the pass. And now another shot by him. Hit the goal post. Big rebound. Nobody can get a stick near it. Score! They tied it up. Great effort by Ottawa on that shot from the line by the defenseman. And it hit the post, and then everybody scrambled for it, and McCulloch found it. 1-1.
Well, big relief for the Ottawa Senators. They finally get a power play goal, and you had to think when they hit the post, what next? As it rattled right off the post, Carlson gets the shot through, drags it so he can, and a good little give and go. Here's the one-timer, right in front of the net as the scramble continues here. McCulloch there will bang it in to tie this hockey game up. Good work to crash the net by Chiasson, and then McCulloch backs away a little bit to get in a scoring position, and the Senators tie the game up.
1-1 now. The goal by McCulloch. What a scramble, though, after it came off the post. The goalie was there trying to find it. He couldn't, obviously. 2 or 3 Senators had whacks at it, and finally it was not told by McCulloch. They're on the move again, too. Good play to get it in there. Converse shot hit a stick and went away wide of the net. After the puck quickly, Chip Chura moved it to the corner, comes back to him on the boards. Now he'll get a break and goal. Chip Chura gets over the line and decides to put the brakes on. Nobody up with him. He knew the change was being made behind him. So he wisely put it in deep, and then he headed off. The goalie comes out. Backhanded the puck away dangerously. It got out to center ice eventually, and Cowan was circling with that. Just played it across the ice in his own zone. Stays open for Ceci, and he gives it to him. Ceci played it up. Now that's in deep, and Smith comes out of the net to play it. They're not clearing it well. Ottawa forechecking a little better. Turris nearly had a chance to set one up. It rolled outside the lines. Chiasson nearly got caught going off the ice. Did he get caught? Oh, the play is stopped.
Well, Gagne, I think he ran into the players' bench here on a change, and he went in awkwardly, and he is hurt. Down and in trouble. And here's a look at it. Down the boards, Ooh, and the door is open and he catches his leg on the open door. Oh boy.
Here it is again.
The Senators changing, and there is the push into the door, and Gagne's up, but he is sore at the moment.
McCulloch from Zibanejad and Carlson were tied at 1.
Brothers Mark Stone and Michael Stone are playing against each other for the first time in the NHL tonight. Mom and Dad wearing neutral colors here in Glendale. As kids, they gave Dad's pool table a beating. They shattered windows, dented garages, and a neighbor's taillight of their car was actually broken. It continued in the WHL. Mark and Brandon, Michael and Calgary continued in the Memorial Cup in 2010. Mark said this is probably the 15th time they played against each other. Michael said, growing up, Bob, this is all they talked about.
And they got the goods now to make all the repairs that they damaged growing up. Pretty good. Carlson's pretty good too. Swinging around twice to get a chance. Hoffman brings it in. Made the pass. Too many Coyotes in front of the net and was cleared out by David Moss. And then put in deep by McMillan. And that team is changing. Ottawa starting the change now with the thought starting up slowly. Let's drop the pass back. Stepped ahead and down the ice. Wide driver. 4 checkers are late coming in for Ottawa. Yandel threw it up in front of his own net, and they take that and go on with it. Attacking the Coyotes. They got it in over the line, and down goes Anderson to make the save. A little scrambly play inside the line on that rush. It didn't look dangerous at all, but nobody could control it.
Well, Mike Smith is such a good puck-handling goaltender, and the Senators are giving it to him a lot here in this first period. He actually starts this play off way at the other end. He is so good at it. And then a nice little pass by Yandel through the middle. And what does Yandel do afterwards? He absolutely takes off and runs with it here up the zone, and that's what created the chances. He takes players to the net, and a good save here coming across.
Gagne got up and skated around a bit and stays on the bench. That's good news with Doan on the puck in there, but giving it up to Cowan, and he starts Ottawa back. A 1-1 tie. Whoa, another hard hit in there by Gormley. He's back to try and get the puck himself. Look at the crowd after it. Sens dig it out all right, but it was easily picked off and cleared, and Doan got down to center waiting for the return pass. It didn't come. Now it's knocked loose. Doan left the work for Reeder, and he picked it up and just threw it away. And Condor got a quick shot on goal. Weak one, nevertheless cleared. And up through center. Now we're going to start hitting everywhere. This is going to be an interference call, though, against Ottawa. Mathot, and he'll be going. Mathot gets the penalty for interference, and a hard hit it was too. He didn't like the call, though.
Well, it was close. I mean, first of all, we talk about Mike Smith and just how well he can handle a puck. Well, he draws a penalty by throwing it to the middle, and yeah, certainly there was contact before the puck arrived, and that's why they're calling it interference.
And on his back too,
yeah.
So the referee had no difficulty calling the play on that. He sets up a power play for the Coyotes. The game is tied at 1. Bodker got the first goal. McCulloch scored on a power play for Ottawa. And here we are. Vermette wins the draw too well, too quickly, by Yandel and out. So he's back to pick it up. Keith Yandel with the Arizona Coyotes looks for a hole to go, creates one, then gets caught, so got rid of it. The pass got over here on this side. Doan tried one cross ice, it hit somebody and came right back. Cleared off the boards, out and down the ice. Smith leaves the net, trying to save a little bit of time. And he didn't do anything. Just left it right there. Back up for Yandel. He drops it back. So far, Doan stopped. In his tracks at the line, through the pass over. And now on this side, Gormley goes after it. The shot is stopped by Anderson. Comes in front of the net. And it's picked up all right by Chiasson, and he got rid of it to the line. Didn't get it out. It's kept in, chopped back by Vermette at the line, and a rink-wide pass doesn't come off either. They keep him outside. Vermette dumped it back to the blue line. Backing up as Yandel delivered the pass. They still won't shoot from there. In close, maybe too close for Shane Doan. And easily stopped by Anderson on the short side. Another pass didn't work. And Yandel was open coming in on this right wing. But it was tipped just in time, and he missed it. The goalie tried to deliver that pass to Yandel, and he didn't see it in time.
The Phoenix Coyotes really do move the puck very well on the power play. They have the 5th best power play in the National Hockey League. And when you got 2 rockets from the point like they do, as Yandel can really hammer it, and so can Larson, that really opens up the low plane for Shane Doan, who's made a career out of trying to score where he just attempted there and scored a lot of goals in that area throughout his career. And a good save by Craig Anderson, who's had an excellent start to this game.
Face off to the goalie's right. And they're slow moving it. Power play winding down. 22 seconds left on it. Ottawa doing a heck of a job holding the puck down. Kept inside the line. Now hit something and came out. Came off a skate in there in front of the net and came all the way out to center ice. Gagne brings it on. They get over the line. Gagne put himself offside, and now they call it. And that'll bring it all the way down the ice. It was power play by Arizona, so they're the ones that halted the play, so the faceoff is back in their zone.
It's good to see Gagne back on the ice in that scary play, and seems like he's okay, which is great news. Had a decent season here since coming over from Edmonton. 7 goals and 20 points this year. Good, reliable defensive player as well.
Shots on goal are even at 6 apiece. And the power play not working for Arizona on this first one. Good penalty killing by the Ottawa Senators. Shot away by the Sens in over the line and a race for it. Coyotes are back. Nearly set up a break coming outside the line. Moss got his stick on it, knocked it down the ice. And back there covering is Mathot. Moved it away down that right side. Ottawa Senators on the attack. MacArthur goes to the net. Stone couldn't get it back to him, but they get a goal anyway. Stone went in there after not being able to pass it back, and he joined the rush in there, and the winger MacArthur was just a step in front of him, and he gets the goal, and Ottawa is leading.
Mathot just playing his 4th game this year, Ed. The Senators really have missed his physical presence. He's a good skater, a big man, and he starts this play off way in his own end by fending off the player, and then Carlson gets it up to the forwards, and now the Senators are off to the races. And a real good play by Turris to sweep it around, and the Senators tonight are doing something they haven't done in a while. They're going to the net with some authority, and Stone goes to the net, and then MacArthur picks up the loose change, and the Senators have the lead.
13:09, the time of the go-ahead goal by Ottawa. Both teams struggling and will value a win here tonight, whoever gets it. Down comes Bobby Ryan, and a good move, and the hard shot on the short side missed. However, there's a penalty coming up to Arizona. Something happened down there in that end, and the referee called the play the moment they got the puck under control.
And it's going to go to the Phoenix Coyotes. Bobby Ryan, who's still playing with that bad hand. It was getting better. And it was on Ryan right in the slot, that push. And I thought Summers was just playing aggressive hockey. I guess they didn't like it being a little bit high. So he's in the box. Getting back to Bobby Ryan. He got slashed again in the Philadelphia game a couple of games ago. And he's still struggling away with that broken finger.
MacArthur's goal assisted by Turris and Stone at 13:09. The go-ahead goal. Zibanejad tries the shot. That hit a leg and came right back to him, and he didn't see it. Here down the ice. Goalie out to play it for Carlson. They're backing up a little bit now. They start going. These fast skaters with this Ottawa team. They get the zone rather quickly and in deep. Bobby Ryan moving up, took a little bump along the boards. Chiasson was with him, and on this side the spot vacated, and it came out, just missed McCollum. I thought maybe a break was coming for Vitale, but it didn't happen. Sens were back. Carlson played it up, got to the line. Bobby Ryan knocked down, but they carry on. It's centered again by McCulloch. Broken up and cleared by Coyotes. 1:05 left in the penalty. Power play for Ottawa. They'd love to get a 2-goal lead at this stage of the game. Backing over the line, okay, and Hoffman hangs on to it, took a bump, got it over. Carlson threw it ahead. Another pass in front was good, but no shot resulted. Played around in there by Turris. Here's the shot. That's off a stick and doesn't hit the net. It goes high over the glass. Let's visit again with Arash.
Bob, we're enjoying things here in the desert. Ron MacLean will be far from here in Arizona tomorrow in Moncton, New Brunswick for Rogers hometown hockey. It gets started at 6:30 Eastern time, and then Florida and Edmonton. Ron's going to get a taste of Atlantic Canada, Mr. Cole.
Okay. Nothing wrong with Atlantic Canada.
You think?
I think I know.
Yes, you do.
Well, it's Ottawa leading in this hockey game here in the West. 2-1. Power play goal. The tie by McCulloch and then MacArthur, the go-ahead goal. Right now, Ottawa on another power play. It's running down, though. Only 18 seconds left. Hoffman shot the puck, missed the net by a couple of feet. Comes off the boards, back to the line. CC hangs on, rolled it ahead, and it'll be cleared out and down the ice. That'll do it on this power play. Ottawa 1 for 2 then on the power play. Just one shot on that latest power play situation for the Senators. But they keep the heat on. The puck is in there. Bodker missed it. That nearly resulted in a chance for the Sens. 3 of them get it down the ice and dump it in. That's about it. Bodker skated and out of the play. Bumped along the boards. Kept in, though, by Gagne. Bodker was in there, too. Gets in front of the net. Pushed around a little bit. Won't control it. And the Sens in a little trouble. Just get the puck out of the zone. 2 of them are up. They were changing behind them. Brought into the corner and knocked around a little bit in there was Lazar. He's okay, though. He got back up, back into the play, delivered a hit himself. Ryan went after the puck at the blue line. And then Legwand. And it's shot in off the boards in around that Arizona net. 3:20 left to play in the first period. Long pass doesn't work. Sens were parked up at center ice and stopped it. Hoffman centered it. Came to Legwand. He turned it back. Hoffman took a shot. Bad angle. Couldn't hit the net. Up comes Carlson to swing to the corner with it and lost it as he tried to put it in around the net. And it was grabbed and flipped high down the center. Bobby Ryan comes back. He flips it back in his own zone. They get it down the ice. And Legwand dumps it in, takes off on a change. Ottawa trying to get the full change on. The tally was there in the way of that, but the pass goes in around the net, circles, fires. That was by Chiasson and didn't get through everybody. Down at the line again, is kept in by Cowan. Rolling puck in front of the net and cleared quickly. Moss takes off. Tried to set it up with a back pass at center ice and was knocked down, and the pass was intercepted. 5 players battle away for it near that red line. And now back up for Murphy. Shot the puck in as he was hit at center ice, but he did get it in deep. Coyotes in after it. Murphy shot right to the goalie Anderson, and he's gonna hang on to it. 1:59 left in the period. 2-1. Ottawa leads.
Scoreboard on a very busy night in the NHL. Montreal just got on the board late in the first period. Troy Brouwer scored for Washington. Jimmy Howard left the game early with a groin injury. Meanwhile, Nikolai Kulemin and Jack Johnson have the scoring in Columbus. It's 1 apiece in Ohio. Bob?
Here 2-1, and Ottawa leads, and the goal by MacArthur at 13:09. Arizona got off to a pretty good start, scoring at 4:31. Bodker got his 12th goal, and then McCulloch got his 4th for Ottawa, and MacArthur his 12th at 13:09, as we just mentioned. 2-1 Ottawa. Puck comes to Yandle on the face-off. They'll do it again. Wasn't dropped fairly. 1:59 remains on the clock. Face-off in the big circle to the left of Craig Anderson. And here we go. Gagne won it cleanly. Good chance for a shot, but they elected not to. Cleared on the boards by Carlson and out. And Yandle takes it again. Just dumped it in this time. Sends are all back, so Lazar will try to take off. Maybe he waited a bit too long, couldn't get going. Mathot has to go around the goal. Gave it to Carlson. Carlson got it ahead with a backhand pass to center ice on the boards, and coming in as Pajot went in there and put the brakes on behind the net. Got to the corner, loose with the puck. Comes after it again. He's getting help in there. He's out himself and leaves it right there for Chiasson. The shot is blocked. And the goalie got a piece of that. The stick out on the short side. Puck comes to center. Ottawa onside. Very carefully to the blue line and dumped in. And 1:05 left to play in the first period. Down the ice, trying to get something going was Reeder. He was bumped at the blue line, and Ottawa the other way. Brought in quickly by Turris. Bad angle shot goes around the net. Phillips fell, but he got back up in time to keep the puck in. Turris is on it in there. Gets away from one hit thrown by Gormley, but he's pinned on the boards and can't get the puck loose. MacArthur does it for him. But a giveaway near the line, and they don't get very far in that attempt. So Phillips flipped it ahead. Dumped in by Clark MacArthur. He gives chase and gets there first. Torres is with him along the boards. Time running down. 20 seconds remaining. That is Cowan getting the backhander. He's on it again off the boards. Backhands the puck in there for MacArthur, and he lost it. The Coyotes would be wise to just shoot the puck out with only 8 seconds remaining. But it's brought on slowly to the line by Doan, and the shot is deflected away, and then the rebound. Anderson covered that all right. And the horn goes to end the first period. The shots were 10-6 in the period. And here's George.
After 20 minutes, it's the Senators leading the Coyotes 2-1. Ottawa fell behind 1-0 before scoring 2 consecutive goals, joined now by Dave Tippett. You got the effort areas and hits and block shots, even face-offs won. But again, the goaltending wasn't there. What's the message after a period?
Well, we've got to be a little smarter. We had a great start to the game, took a bad penalty, let them back in it with a power play goal. So tighten things up, think a little better, and play a little quicker.
Dave, thanks.
Thank you.
Bob?
Ottawa not scoring the first goal, but didn't lay back one bit. Just kept working, and they got the game tied at 7:08 when McCauley got his 4th. And then MacArthur. And as you say, it's 2-1 Ottawa going into the second period. Puck was rifled in off the glass right off the bat. Shots were 12-9, by the way, in the first period in favor of Ottawa. Slow getting that up on the board. That's the official now, 12-9 in the first period. Ottawa out shooting Arizona. Ottawa on the move right off the bat to start this one off. Played back to MacArthur. He delivered a pass. Nice save. Left pad saved by Smith that time. And here comes another. Right to him. And a scramble in the blue ice that's cleared away, but not out of the zone. Long rink-wide pass and another shot wide on the glove side. Dumped in behind that Arizona net. Ottawa pursuing the puck again on the forecheck rather well. Good work by Alex Chiasson on that shift.
Well, this all starts because of a horrible change by the Coyotes. And the Ottawa Senators take advantage of that. And a good play here by Anderson to advance the puck. There's the change to your right. And now the Senators are off to the races. And Carlson, as he does so well, joins the play rather, and what a save by Smith. And then the Senators had another chance after this, all because of that initial play And the Coyotes have not been sharp in this game, and those little details are what's hurting them so far.
Face off this time, won by Ottawa. Had to scramble to make sure they had that puck inside the line under control. Hoffman going after it behind the net. Hoffman ran into Murphy. Puck comes to the line, and Ottawa again working hard to keep it in. It did come out. They tag up though. However, it's brought ahead and down across the line. Reeder got in deep, and Arizona is making changes. Minute and a half in. Nice play by Ryan to get going again. Nice pass by him too. Delivered back to him, but it was intercepted, and he fell and crashed into the boards rather heavily. He's slow getting up. Appears to be not injured badly. Referee helped him, as a matter of fact, to get going over there near the Ottawa bench, and that's where he goes now. And slowly too, I might add. We'll check on him. Long shot in for Anderson. He'll glove it and hang on. There he is on the bench.
Well, the best Ottawa Senator forward by far the last little while. Gets tripped up on a funny play, really. I think he just got caught with his skate on Chris Summers, tied up with him, and then he went flying hard into the boards. And we'll keep an eye on him. But for Ottawa Senator fans, you got to hope he's all right.
Face off in the Ottawa zone. Gagne, who got hurt in the first period, didn't miss a shift, I don't think. He was back on, and here he looks pretty good. A long shot. Hit a crowd in front of the net. And Ottawa's on it quickly to get it out as Mark Stone in over the line, and the play goes to McCulloch, but off his stick and into the corner. In around the net again, and cleared out and down the ice. Carlson. He fell going back there. Everybody having trouble with the skates to start this second period. He was just turning harmlessly, coming around the net, and lost an edge. Arizona on the move, brought in by Alessio. Lost it. Shot fired off a stick in wide of the goal. Ottawa will pick it up and get it out thanks to Stone. Got it down there and a little bit too far for Zibanejad. He was upended. Pushing and shoving after that first hit. The play goes right on. We're nearing 3 minutes of the second. A lot happening yet for the goalies. Penalty called against Ottawa. Tripped up was David Moss, just skating around the net. Stick got under his skates. He's gone to the ice, so the tripping call is made.
Jared Cowan with that hand out, and the minute you grab, you're going to get nailed for holding, and you can't believe it, but that free arm, as soon as it comes off the stick, they like to make that call.
Now power play for Arizona. Not a sold-out crowd here, rather. Sparse crowd for a Saturday. It holds 18,300 here. Gila Arena. Power play handled by Yandel to the line, and the shot off his stick and wide. They keep it in though, pass it around well outside the 3-man box. One in front of the goal and the other 3 out in front of him for Ottawa. Angle shot. Here's one. That was blocked. Yandel had the open side too. Couldn't get it through the crowd. A battle for the puck. It came loose and the goalie reached out. Anderson and poked it away. Shot ricocheted off the boards, got to the line, and was kept in over there by Ekman Larsson. But he lost it, and it was cleared out and down the ice. The crowd wanted a penalty called against Ottawa. They've already got one. It's down to 1:10 left on it. In over the line comes Reeder. Shot it around that Ottawa goal. The goalie came out. It hit Reeder as he circled the net. Batted away on the boards by Mathot, and that got out and down the ice. Got right to Smith. He'll play it. Nearly hit the forechecker coming in. Ceci got back to help. It's cleared out and down near the Arizona blue line. Circling for the puck, Gagne. Back up here on this side of Reeder. He'll go in over the line, take a look at the net, and he won't get a shot away from there now because he's covered by Ceci very well. And the Sens get it out and down the ice. The penalty is now down to 23 seconds. So up they come. Gormley starts it off. And a bad pass. It was intercepted easily by Turris. However, they keep it in. Driven to the goalie. He'll hang on to it, stopping the play with 7 seconds left on the power play for Arizona.
Pretty good kill once again for the Ottawa Senators. Condor with a big-time block here, and then the scramble is on. And the Coyotes wanted a hooking penalty here. And a holding the stick is what they were really upset about. And here's the last chance here. Good work again by Anderson. Top of the blue paint. Perfect position, no rebound on the shot from Stone from the point.
Pretty good shot by Stone, too. That is Carlson batting the puck away, and they didn't get out. So one last chance in the power play for Arizona. The penalty is done now, and it's shot around the net. They're still in control in there, but finally the Sens pick it up, and away they go, led by the veteran Phillips. He got to the line near the end of his shift. He decided that was it, and he dumped it in and took off to the bench. Now the rest of the Ottawa Sens are changing. 2-1. Ottawa continues to lead here in the second period. McMillan brings it over the line, tried to head for the net. He's got Joe Vitale coming in behind him. McMillan got loose, but the puck came the other way. And Pajot skates out for Ottawa. Down across that line, trying to cut inside. One hand on the stick, couldn't quite do it. Gets the puck again, looks around at the blue line. The shot stopped by Smith. Made the stick save. Kept in by Carlson. That hit a stick and went high to the corner. Ottawa has 2 players in deep. After it is Bobby Ryan. Reached for it. Fanned on the pass attempt. Stays after it in there though. And he was hit hard by Murphy. 2 of them were shaken on that hit. Puck comes around the net again. Ottawa still battling away for it as Ryan. Pajot centered it. That was knocked down, and out comes Reeder. He gallops to center and comes up over the line with the players on Arizona Coyotes changing behind him, but he kept going. He's on the puck again, and there in the corner, it came loose, got behind the net. He thought he had a chance on it, missed it. And Gryba took it away and slapped it on the glass and got it to the line, and it just did get out. 7-minute mark coming up in the second. Moving right along this game. 1-goal lead for Ottawa. Break here. Dumped away. 2 of them are trying to get going. It's Zibanejad. Delivers a pass. Second one hit a stick. Zibanejad went after, and he was bumped on the boards back there, and it's cleared out by Irak. Doan sees a man open, gave it to him. Shot from the blue line, right to the goalie Anderson. Pumped in rather hard, and Anderson hangs on to this. We'll be back.
It's time for the Budweiser Red Light scoreboard on a busy night in the NHL. Max Pacioretty has the Canadiens leading 1-0 in Montreal. John Carlson with a second goal for the Capitals. Meanwhile, in Columbus, Matt Martin has the Islanders leading the Blue Jackets 1-1 in St. Louis. Coming up later tonight, the Flames and the Canucks. Winnipeg visiting the Staples Center and the defending champs. Bob?
And Arash, it's still a 2-1 game here in Phoenix, Arizona. Ottawa Sens scoring twice after giving up the first goal to Bodker. Power play goal by McCulloch and then MacArthur with the Ottawa lead. We're on the move again, led by Turris this time. His shot off a stick and wide of the net on the short side. Grabbed right away by Sam Gagner, and he got it out. Brought back by CC. Couldn't get too far outside his own blue line. MacArthur turns, gives it to Turris. Over the line is Turris. Left it right there. Batted in. CC along the boards. Puck loose and right to Bodker. And he got it out for Arizona. High pass could not be knocked down. It's going to be called on the contact with the high puck. And here again, Arash.
Bob, there's an all-new episode of Mike and Molly coming up Monday at 8:30 Eastern and Pacific on City, or you can catch up on the episodes on citytv.com.
12:14 to go in the second period.
Everybody clap your hands.
And on for Arizona is Vermette. Couldn't win it. Good face-off win by Ottawa, and down the ice, however, and they're going to have to prove it again with the face-off coming once more in their own zone.
The Ottawa Senators have done a real nice job in this game so far at closing gaps, and here's a pretty good example of it. They've had their defense right up. There's been a nice tight gap between the forwards and defense, and Arizona has not been able to get out of their zone because of it. Here's another example here, and good work by the Ottawa Senator defense to stand right up on Arizona.
Pass to the blue line. Well, the Coyotes doesn't quite work, and any attempt near the net. Puck is cleared out across the line and was batted with a high stick, so they're going to call it. 11:48 left in the period. Shots are 15-13 in favor of the Sens.
The Senators have done an excellent job in their team play in this game so far, and they have not given Arizona very much at all in terms of chances to score, other than when Arizona's been on the power play.
Shots are only 5-3 in this period for Arizona. Played nearly 12 minutes. No, correction. Nearly 9 minutes. Puck loose off the draw to the line. Score! You had a funny feeling about, no, it hit the post. It's not in. Light came on, forget that. The crowd thought it was in. They're going to have to be looking at this. But the play continued, and the referee down at that end just waved his arms. That did not go in. And now they're going to do some TV monitoring.
Yeah, I think the ref made the right call as well. This puck came through traffic, surprised Craig Anderson. He's shaking no goal. And off the one post, off the other post, and out.
Oh, my.
Unbelievable. The Senators have had a difficult time at the face-off dot here. This puck was redirected off a leg in front as well. So off a leg, off the crossbar, off the post, and out, and a break for Craig Anderson and the Ottawa Senators. And that is one area where Ottawa have to be a little better in this game, is at the face-off dot, as they've been struggling in that area. Winning just 37% of the draws in the first period.
Now, the crowd is looking at the big clock at center ice, and you can tell by their cheering, they feel that that's going to be called a goal. But I don't think so. Well, we'll see. You don't think. We're going to have a look at the... We'll have a look at it here one more time.
No goal.
It has to be right over that goal line. Completely over the goal line. And as you saw at home, it obviously was not. Still 2-1 Ottawa. Dangerous shot goal with a big crowd in front of the goalie. Reeder given a bump, trying to go after the puck after dumping it in, and Carlson got rid of it off a skate, didn't get out. Kept in there, and they're on the move. Tip Chara just missed the pass. Sens cover well in their own zone now, and they're getting the puck out smartly. Bobby Ryan got across center and looped the high one in. Smith took his time getting out of the net to play that. They did not tag up, so the play will run for a bit. And it's stopped at the line. Carlson, Hoffman made a good move and left it for Zibanejad. Score! Hoffman picked it up all the way and got in the right spot on the other side. And that's that 2-goal lead Ottawa was looking for.
Boy, Huffman's had a great year, hasn't he? I mean, now that's his 14th goal of the season so far for the youngster. And what a brutal giveaway here by Yandel as he just throws it and a no-look pass. And Huffman with perfect positioning, and then a little give and go as he goes to the net, dishes off. And Zibanejad with a beautiful pass back out to the slot. And the Ottawa Senators get that 2-goal cushion, and they score more than 2 goals for Craig Anderson on the road, and that's all they've averaged when he's been in the net on the road all season long, just 2 goals for. And that's a big one for the Senators.
Is it ever a 2-goal lead at this stage? Coming up to the halfway mark of period number 2. That's Zibanejad trying to stick handle in himself. Got the puck in deep, taken out of the play back there though. Monker turned with it. He didn't move it very far. Ottawa staying on top of it inside that Arizona line, and the shot is easily stopped as Conrad just whipped the wrist shot at the goalie. Hoffman's 14th from Zibanejad, 3-1 Ottawa.
And that's been the story of the Arizona Coyotes year. I mean, they're in the game, it's a 1-goal game, and then one of their veteran players gives the puck away. And Bobby Ryan does a real nice job angling Yandel to force the giveaway. And here's a look at it. Here comes Ryan. It just gives them enough pressure to force a bad pass. The end result is a beautiful goal for the Senators.
Making it 3-1 in the face-off deep in the Arizona zone. Tapped to the line, knocked down by Ceci. And out comes Erat. He's in over that Ottawa blue line and dropping it back for the shot. Doan put it right on, too, with a hard slap shot. And Anderson held onto it.
And let's not forget, I mean, it's a game of inches, isn't it? At one end, a shot through traffic. Goes right off both posts. And then you go to the other end. A bad giveaway. Huffman seals the deal to give the Senators a 2-goal cushion.
Arizona out shooting Ottawa 6-5 in the period. It's been that close. But Ottawa has the only goal. Hoffman's 14th from Zibanejad at 9:21. We've just passed the halfway mark. Chiasson got back to help inside his own blue line. Cleared it to center, and again right there he gave it to Ceci. Played it on the boards. It's down the ice all right. And wide of the net. Turning with it, Ekman-Larsson. Long lead pass, got up the center ice. Vermette tried to move it in. He's going off now after making that move. It didn't work, and they are changing their lines. Carlson didn't get too far inside the blue line. It came back out again. Now he flips a high one in to the far side. Back there was Connor Murphy. Whipped it behind his own net, cleared on the glass, knocked down at center ice. And they're on the move. Murphy got in on the rush, keeps going. He's in there against Mathot. Got the pass out. Good coverage by McCulloch. And now he had his stick lifted. And then he trips his man, Chip Chara. So he's going to be going off. He made 2 or 3 good moves over there to help in his own zone. But then he tripped his man and he's gone.
At last, Mark Mathot is healthy and has returned to the Senators after an 8-month agonizing process because of a back injury. You see the minutes Thursday in Denver. And Dave Cameron told us he didn't want Mathot to feel out of place, be cautious, because he said we can't fast forward game conditions and we want to avoid a setback. Now, Mathot told me this morning what worried him most during the process was that it wasn't anything that surgery could repair, rather a nagging soft tissue problem. And Bob Mathot now feels he can play the rest of the season healthy and knows how to manage the back better.
He knows how to play the physical game, too. He's a great asset for Ottawa back there. The puck is not cleared out now. They're setting up on the power play. Arizona trailing by 2 goals now. It did come outside the line. Close call at the blue line, but offside.
Well, what Mark Mathot does as well, so well, is he really complements the game of Erik Karlsson. He settles him down a little bit, can compensate for Erik when he takes off out of the zone, and he's provided a real nice balance for Erik Karlsson throughout his career when those two have been together.
Vermette on the face-off against Pajot, and he won the face-off. They're in control at the line. Here comes Yandel. The shot stopped. The stick of Anderson was right there to make the save. Pajot dumps it down the ice. He's fast, trying to get up to pick it up. And the goalie came out to play it, and wait a minute, there's going to be an interference call. And it's going to be Ekman-Larsson, the defenseman, stopping Pajot.
Smart play by Pajot here to just chip and chase. Now, the reason Dave Tippett doesn't like this is his sweater was grabbed. He's saying, hey. And I don't blame Tippett for being upset there. That was not a great call, as Larsson was the guy that got grabbed onto, and he's in the penalty box.
So a little bit of 4-on-4 hockey. Oh, he's really upset.
I don't blame
him. As you say, you don't blame him, no.
That was a bad call.
Ekman Larsson didn't like it either, but he's sitting. And we're 4-on-4. On the move here is Bottker. Got over the line, shot the puck in. He's not going to get to it. Or is he? He did get to it and poked it back out near the blue line. A lot of open space in there now with these attacking players for the Coyotes. Give Lars Carlson some room and he'll go too. Carlson has to wait though. 2 players cover him and they can't find the puck on him. Hangs on it beautifully, played it over to the far side and dumped in by Cowan. Arizona will move on. Gagne decided to flip it in on goal, hoping for a break on a bounce in front of Anderson. He didn't get that, and he took off on the change. Long pass that nearly hit Hoffman, who was gone had he picked it up. 7:15 left to play in period number 2. Turris is in there for Ottawa. It's batted in the general direction of the net. The goalie made the save, and it was there for a second or two before he could clear it. That centering pass escaped everybody and down the ice. First penalty will be over in 12 seconds. The Senators will be on the power play for a few seconds then. Shot is on by Turris, and the save made. Vermette takes off down the ice. He has Doan with him. 2 big guys for Arizona. Doan around the net. Tried to pass to Vermette. Broken up. And power play now, Ottawa. 10 seconds now. That's all that's left in the penalty against Ekman Larsson. MacArthur, stop, put it back. No shot, nearly a giveaway. Teams are at full strength. The shot is blocked. The captain tried to drive it through everybody and couldn't do it. It's back down the ice. He's back to pick it up. Carlson just shoveled the puck out over the line. It'll come back in and clear it out again. A thought will carry himself this time. Sharp angle shot. Big rebound though. In around the net. Pajot looks out near the blue line. There himself. Gives it over here, and Greiba's shot is smothered, and they're going to hang on to it. Good stop by Smith. Slows the play.
It's now time for the Budweiser Red Light scoreboard, and it's the Canadians holding on to that 1-0 lead with Max Pacioretty's 18th of the year. The Red Wings struggling without Jimmy Howard, who was stretchered off with a groin injury. 3-zip Capitals. The Islanders running away with it. 3 second period goals in Columbus. And Jeff Skinner and Eric Stahl helped Carolina, Bob, to a 2-goal lead there.
Burakovsky went up with the puck and shot it in wide of the net and comes in after it. But Ottawa is playing very well tonight inside their own blue line. They're getting to the pucks in there and clearing them. Now Phillips will stop one at center.
I love their neutral zone too, Bob. They're really nice and tight, and Phoenix are having, again, I'll try again. Arizona are having a very difficult time getting out of their zone.
Brought in by Reeder, got it over in front. What a save by Anderson. Got the right pad down, and he robbed Gagne. Here comes another shot for him. He gloves this one and hangs on. Best save of the game right there by Craig Anderson.
Yeah, and Reeder, if he can get a goal-scoring touch at all, he's going to be a good player. But here's one of the few giveaways so far in this game by Ottawa. And Anderson with a beautiful save and some nice pressure by Chris Phillips on the backside pressure here to force the shot. And actually Gagne with the chance, and a good save by Anderson.
Face off one by Arizona right in front of the net and off the skate of Bottker as he was looking down. Stepping out quickly is Bamjad. Got the puck in. Converse centered it, and he'll come in to pick it up off the boards. Get a pass all the way back to the line. Lazard trying to bring it on. Bumped a little bit, but carried on with it. Now that pass was intercepted, and Arizona will get it out of the zone, and Licio tried to come up to grab it at the side of the net. Didn't get there. Ottawa calmly clearing it out to center ice was Cowan. Puck just rolls in wide of the Arizona net and played out of the zone by Gormley, but the play stopped. And I think somebody is going to get too many men on the ice, and it looks like it could be Ottawa.
It is.
That's what it is, too. Too many men on the ice, Ottawa.
Nominate your community at khv2015.ca by February 8th for your chance to be the next Kraft Hockey Bill. Brought to you by Philadelphia Cream Cheese.
It's a minor penalty for too many men on the ice. Watch.
1, 2. Well, there's 6 on the ice there. Now, does the puck touch the attacking player there before the other player gets off? And that's why he called it.
4:20 left in the second period. Another power play for the Coyotes. The first shot was right to the goalie. Not a problem as Keith Yandle just wristed that one at the net. Here's a rash again.
Bob, for those who love hockey, well, now they can watch it on Canada's fastest internet as named by PCMag.com.
Power play, Arizona. Every man up inside the blue line with his draw to the right of the goalie, Craig Anderson. Can't win it, but they control it as Ottawa failed to get the puck out. Stopped near the line by Yandle. Over here to Vodkerd, back to the defenseman on the other side now. Yandle is open back of the line. Pass comes to him. He's ready to shoot it and does not. It's cleared at the blue line, ahead by Vermette. Finally intercepted by the Senator back on that side. Gryba took a swing at it and missed it. And then Stone took a swing at it and he missed it. Again, Yandle delays a shot. Backhands it in, easily stopped by Anderson. Down the ice it goes, and there's Smith way out to stop the puck. The penalty rolling on, down to 1:10 remaining. Stepping up, Keith Yandle. Gets across center, comes over here to Reeder. He put on the brakes, play it back to Yandle. He's covered very well, won't get a shot. Back to Yandle again on the other side. This one is blocked in front of the net. They saved by Gryba, who stood up in front of his goalie and made the stop. Gryba fights for it along the boards, kicks it loose, tries to hold it there again, doing a pretty good job killing the clock, and Ottawa doing a great job getting it out and down the ice. 37 seconds left in the penalty. Keith Yandle around the goal and coming on. Gets to center, played it ahead. That's a chance to clear for Ottawa again, and Ceci makes no mistake. 22 seconds to kill. Still nothing doing for Arizona. Brought over the line by Alessio. It's knocked down, and the Senators cleared again down the ice. Alex Chiasson took a hit as he did that and didn't like it. He's headed off in a change. Penalty time, 3 seconds. Coming on over the line, Korpikoski. Got the puck in, the penalty is over. And just the one shot on goal. So they're 0 for 4 in the power play. Good penalty killing work by Ottawa Sens. This time it's given up inside the line, however, and the shot is fired, deflected wide to the net. Chip Chura fights for it behind the goal. He won't get it, and it's cleared to the line, and not out by Zibanejad, kept in, centered, and that was missed by Korpikoski. Cleared by Zibanejad just outside his own line for Turris to dump it deep. And they'll all change that Ottawa quintet. 1:40 left in the period. Ottawa leads by 2 goals. Kept inside that Arizona blue line. They're passing it around well. Phillips' shot came off the goalie and nearly hit the post. Might have gone in. Just missed. And cleared to the line by Erat, but not out. Hoffman kept it in. Hoffman looks to pass it. Rolled it along the boards. It got around the net. In there's Bobby Ryan. Got it over for the goalie, and it went high. Deflected high.
Well, Bobby Ryan with an unbelievable shift. I mean, first of all, he gets the puck into the zone, does some real nice work down low, good puck recovery. It works in front of the net, and this is just an incredible pass here by Ryan. He swoops it up in front, and I am not sure if Mike Smith got a piece of this or not. As an absolute blast in the point, he did, as the face-off is inside. What a shot. What a save.
1:13 left in the period. Ottawa 3, Arizona 1. Pass it around well, too. Was saved by Smith with the glove. Condra went after it in the corner. Pajot was there to help him, but it gets out and down the ice anyway, right to the goal. Just missed the net down there, and racing back was Erik Karlsson. He shot it ahead. We're in the final minute of the period now. Dumped back in there. Anderson came out and tried to stop it and missed it. And then Mathot lost it at on the boards there to the right of the goal. They're going to clear it ahead and get it out anyway. Penalty coming up to Arizona in a moment. This is Condra. Centering pass doesn't work. And here's the call coming now as the puck is picked up by Mikhail Bodker.
It'll be high sticking in front of Craig Anderson.
Lesio,
yep, is going to go.
High stick by Lesio with 32.7 seconds left in the period.
And the stick comes up right there on Stone, and that's why he's in the penalty box.
Okay, things looking pretty good for Ottawa at this stage of the hockey game. 25 seconds left in the period as this shot comes. No, it doesn't come. And the puck is out again. It hit Bobby Ryan and bounced back outside the blue line. Sens bring it in. Zibanejad made the pass. Fell down there in that big circle, and then Karlsson looked to the net. No shot from him. Bobby Ryan might go to him again. He does. Now he shoots it, and that's blocked. Cleared along the boards as the horn goes to end period number 2. The one goal by Hoffman from Zibanejad at 9:21. The shots are 24-20 after 2 periods. Ottawa, and they're ahead in the game. 3-1.
Welcome back to Arizona. It's time for our Budweiser Red Light scoreboard, where the Penguins scored one late in the second period in Montreal. They evened things there. The Red Wings added one late in the second period to cut it to a 2-goal advantage. Meanwhile, Columbus gets one in the third. It is 4-2 at home to the Islanders. Joined now by Ottawa head coach Dave Cameron. You preached resilience and perseverance in your morning meeting today. What have you seen from your group that's shown that, Coach?
We're doing a pretty good job. We're doing a much better job of getting on the net, the offensive zone, and getting second and third opportunities because of it.
Dave, thanks.
Welcome.
Anderson has been solid. Power play situations. There have been 8 of them in the game. One power play goal that's scored by Ottawa's McCulloch. That was the tying goal in the game when Bodker scored first. And then MacArthur added a goal. And in the second period, Hoffman from Zibanejad. 3-1. Ottawa going to the third period. And here we are. Puck loose there for a moment. Ryan picked it up, circled it back, and offside at the line. Little delay with the pass, and it was offside.
Well, this has been a real strong game for the Ottawa Senators. A very efficient game, but started off not so well as Brodker with a beautiful individual effort got the Coyotes on the board first. But then something that Cameron just talked about. The Senators hunt the puck out. McCulloch finds the puck to tie the game up. And then 2 quick goals after that as Hoffman in the second period with a beauty, and Clark MacArthur before that going to the net as well. As the Senators in this game doing a far better job going to the net and getting rewarded for it.
On this Ottawa power play, there's 56 seconds left. Short-handed break. No shot yet. Pretty good work, though, by Chipchura until he lost it. 4 Sens take off. Chipchura got back and helped to break that play up. Karlsson forced back in his own zone. Clean pass. Got up there to Turris. Rolled it in. MacArthur heads for the net. Right in. Hit the goalpost. Came right back out. Low shot. And all the way down the ice it goes. 23 seconds left to the penalty now. And down across center ice, the Sens bring it in. Try to set something up for another goal. Nice comfortable third period for them if they can pull it off. It's onside. No shot yet, but there's one. Score! They pull it off beautifully. Ceci walked right into it and hit the high part of the net on the short side. Power play goal.
The one thing about Cody Ceci we haven't seen a lot in his career yet is he's got a terrific shot. And he certainly could pound the puck in junior, and we'll see more of his offense as it comes. And earlier, Clark MacArthur with a terrific individual effort hit the post, but here's the Senators keeping it into the blue line. Ceci sneaks down and just drills it up high, and a beautiful shot. And the Ottawa Senators have got it all going tonight. Their penalty killing has been strong. Their power play has been excellent, and their 5-on-5 play, particularly in the neutral zone, has been airtight.
I like the setup of that last goal on the power play for Ottawa. They're very calm, coming across the blue line, and then the pace picked up, and the pass was beautiful, and the shot, as Greg just mentioned, was a bullet. So that makes it 4-1 Ottawa here in the third period. Ottawa will stay here tonight, practice tomorrow, and then take off for Dallas. Gryba takes his man out of the play, poked the puck away from him. Gryba and Phillips. Phillips has to move up, and he doesn't. Kept in there, and the shot by Bonker is blocked. Here's one from the line. That doesn't reach the net either. Slapping at it was Reeder, and he got it in behind the net okay. Everybody covers. The pass comes off the boards back to the line. Shot the other way to the corner, and Gryba is on that pass. Ahead to Pajot, and he gets the puck up to center ice. Well, that's just giving the puck away, and they'll bring it back in. However, it's in deep, and they're going to change these Coyotes. Can't get control of the puck inside that attacking zone, and it was flipped too high over the boards at the bench. 17:33 remaining, 4-1 lead now. Ceci's second goal of the season.
Chris Phillips seems to calm things down when he's in the lineup, and he's been in and out of the lineup a bit of late, but I like him back there. That veteran presence, you can see he's always chirping, talking to the younger players, and a solid player on the blue line that really doesn't hurt you very much, even though he's towards the end of his career.
MacArthur gets his second assist of the game on that CC goal, and Carlson also got an assist on that play. The shot doesn't reach the goalie. Cleared up near the line. It squeezes out okay, and they have to turn back for it. That's Michael Stone starting him off. Didn't get too far at all. Ekman Larsson comes back. Around the net it goes. Now they move it quickly. Stone got it out that time, but it's back in over that line, so they're back and forth, and nothing really happening. Played off the boards by Cowan to nobody in particular, and Vermette just picked it up and scooped it back. Now, Arizona trying to get something started is Doan dumping it in. That won't do it. Ottawa all back and playing it well defensively in their own zone. Look at this. Two quick passes, and they're out again. Chiasson takes off after the puck in the corner. Two players fell. Puck is dumped away on the boards, and Chip Chura gets his stick on it and gave it away. Right to Turris. He played it back, gets it handed back, and comes on. MacArthur gets in, taken out of the play before he could get a shot, but it's in deep behind the net. Turris tried to find it. The Coyotes get it away to the line, and it'll be cleared out by Erat. He gets it over the line, and now bringing it on, Korpkoski, shot into the side of the net. Nobody getting a shot. Ottawa, again, as we mentioned many times, all back and covering well positionally. That is Gryba. Moved it ahead, Stone left it, and it's flipped down the ice by Pajot, and then he took a hit. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the third period in Phoenix. Coyotes are trailing 4-1 for the Ottawa Senators. And Phillips on the ice again, comes in front of his own net. That pass was dangerous, but it got out and down the ice. It was intended for Bobby Ryan. Gagne tipped it, and that's down the ice, no icing. Teams at full strength, and Ottawa in control of the hockey game. Good pass by Ceci. They get over the line and right to the net with Hoffman. Broken up back there, and he couldn't get his stick down on it a second time. And Bodker backs it up in his own zone for Arizona. On the boards, harmlessly down inside the line, and there's Cowan to pick it up for Ottawa. He got tripped up by himself back there. Nearly lost it. 14:50 left to play. Third period. Ottawa on the road. As we mentioned, off tomorrow to Dallas. So this is a pretty nice start for him tonight. I mean, the game is not done, but look out. A goal here would help get something started for Phoenix, as you say. Arizona, like we gotta say. Look at this. What a try. Now penalty coming up on the play, too.
Going to be goalie interference, Bob.
Lazar went in too far that time. Bumped the goalie. And a chance here for Arizona. Puck got in close and was snared away before a shot was made. And here's the youngster going off. Showed great speed coming in.
Lazar loves to go to the net, and this is what's going to make him a very effective player someday in the National Hockey League. And he goes to the net here, but ends up knocking Smith over in the blue paint. That's why he's in the box. I really like what the Senators did, putting Lazar in the World Junior Championships. It was a very intelligent move by the organization. Just think of the confidence that he gained, the great experience of winning a gold for your country, and this kid's going to be a real solid NHL player for a lot of years down the road.
So Arizona on the power play now. And boy, do they need this one to happen for them. They're down 4-1 to Ottawa. 13:50 left to play in the third period. Ottawa has been terrific killing penalties tonight. They've knocked off 4 of them. Pass to the line. Played over here by Yandel. Back to Yandel. Yandel's shot didn't reach the goalie. It was blocked in front of him as he was going down. Phillips lost the puck at the side of the goal. Flipped back by Vermette. And again back to Vermette. He goes to the line with the pass. No shot from there. Bodker throws it ahead. The shot is blocked. Puck is staying inside that Ottawa blue line. Power play. Arizona right in front of the net. The goalie sliding across Anderson. He had to get up for this one. The shot is hit a stick and went wide of the net. Comes back to Yandel again. He just waits. He'll come over here on this side. Ekman Larsson. Now Ekman Larsson again. Shot is off the target, off the boards, and picked up off the boards by Turris and cleared down the ice.
Greiba's had a good game for the Ottawa Senators. 2 or 3 big blocks again on this penalty kill, and he's been doing it all game long.
Keith Yandel carrying the puck up slowly over the line. They're onside. It's shot in around the net, okay, and they come in after it quickly. But it's the Senators back and finding the puck. And more time gone, shooting it down the ice. 12:22 left to play, third period. In the penalty, 18 seconds. That's right to the goalie. He'll slow the pace right here and get a face-off in his own zone to his right.
And Lazar, one of the great players for Team Canada in the World Juniors. And you look at his goals, all of them by going to the net. Just like he did moments ago, although he got caught with a penalty. There's one he shot in that wasn't crease in, but most of them were going right to the net. And a real leader for his team. And will be an Ottawa Senators for an awful long time as we look at his numbers in the tournament.
Face-off won by Arizona. One more shot wide of the net. They're off the target, getting shots. Mind you, they're from great distance. Here comes another one. And that misses the goal. Penalty is over now. A pass in front of the goal and kicked away by Mathot. He's over there with a stick on it. Rolled ahead a little bit by David Legwand, but not very far. So Arizona is 0 for 5 in the power play in this game. They had 2 shots on goal that one.
Welcome back to Arizona. You know, they are the next ones, the future of the NHL. Lawson Crouse takes 200 skill shots a day. Hashtag what to win. Meanwhile, Next Issue and Sportsnet want to send you to the 2015 Honda NHL All-Star Game. Visit nextissue.ca/all-star for your chance to win. Bob?
The Senators, Rash, are out shooting the Coyotes 26-23 in this hockey game. Outscoring them 4-1 is the big ticket. There's Hoffman going after another. Put it up high, and it was stopped by Smith. He wasn't very comfortable stopping that. Kind of blinked a little bit as the shot came up high, but he found it.
Well, Mike Hoffman up to the All-Star game in the rookie category, and you love his speed, and he has really had a terrific game tonight. He got a goal, almost had another one, and almost gets one there also. And what opens up the ice for Hoffman, he's got a great release, A, and B, he's got tremendous speed, which he's used since the day he landed here in Ottawa.
He sure has great speed. He cut in off the boards, too, straight for the net. Sharp angles. Puck is out. Carlson has to hurry. He does that, gets back. Stop the break for Arizona. Michael Stone with the puck. Gets in over the blue line somehow. Stick handled by two Senators and got it in around the net. This shot is stopped. Another one stopped. Third by Anderson. He hangs on. Can't say the Coyotes are not trying. 3 shots in a row, and the last 2 from close in.
Well, he's not had a lot of work, but Craig Anderson has been solid once again, and the MVP for the team, I think, all season long. He's had a great year, and a couple of big-time saves here, not once but twice, as the Coyotes get probably their best chance of the period. It all starts where the puck is rimmed around. Ryan doesn't get there in time, and there's 1, 2, 3 saves, and Moss had the last look right on the doorstep. Craig Anderson's handled the puck extremely well in this game also, and we mentioned Mike Smith a lot, the way he handles it. Well, Anderson, when he has his game going, he can do a nice job in that area also.
Joe Vitale won the draw for Arizona. It's around the net to the other side, and the defenseman's shot is wide of the net. Boy, they've missed the net a lot of times on that glove side. Zibanejad comes back, takes a hit, knew it was coming, took it anyway, and cleared the puck back. So Ottawa controlling their own zone very well. This one, however, given up to Vitale, and he didn't do much with it. Zibanejad nearly picked one up inside that blue line on the attack. Good forechecking by Nika Zibanejad. Ottawa wants to make a change, but a little bit, and they're doing that now. Private comes back and saves the day, maybe. No shot coming because of that, and Anderson slows the play again by smothering the puck.
The numbers don't always tell the story, but in Colorado, I mean, Anderson had no chance on those plays. They couldn't see. There was lots of traffic, so he got yanked in that game. But before that, an impressive .940 save percentage and an average well under 2.
First line of the night, and most nights for Arizona on there now. No shot. MacArthur gets the pass away. Down comes Turris over the line. Talk about speed coming in. Tried to hit his man coming in off the right wing and missed him. Met, Doan, and Erat the line on for Arizona. Halfway mark of the third period. We've just hit it. It's 4-1 Ottawa. On the attack is Kyle Turris. Played it back out to MacArthur. He gave it to MacArthur again around the net. He goes upended back there. Won't get to the puck. It was played around the net back there by Gagne. And then Bottker had to back up with it. Ottawa was changing, so no forechecking on that play. Bottker moving to the far side, left it over the line. The shot just barely made it to the goalie, off his stick, and Anderson caught that. 9:31 remains.
Well, it's been well documented around the Ottawa area that the power play 0 for 29 the last 8 games going into tonight was a real issue for the Senators. Well, they solved that. They get a break here as the puck rattles off the post, but then the Ottawa Senators fish the puck out, something they weren't doing before, and then another beautiful goal there is that time it was Ceci who blasted it in from the offside. Good news for the Senators that their power play is back going here tonight.
Senators penalty killing has been right on the money tonight. Arizona 0 for 5 on the power play. Now they swing something to the line. That long pass went up there by Gagne, and the Sens bring it right back. Lazard just missed that one inside the blue line. Gagne picked it up, shot it over to the other side, and they play it off the boards in there, and Carlson easily back to pick it up. And ahead to Condra. Little high one gets in there, and Ottawa changing them up again. The goalie, Mike Smith, comes out to play it, threw it up to the corner. And they can't get anything going from that blue line. Again, Smith out of the net. There's the puck well. Coyotes get it out. And nobody can make that second pass because of the checking of the Ottawa Senators. Played to the line, a long high shot right to the midsection of Anderson, and no rebound. 8:22 left.
And Ottawa is getting strong performances from not only their good star players, but also their workers. And Greiba's had a real excellent game here. Blocking shots, been wonderful in the power play. Broke up the play here to maybe save a potential breakaway chance in the third period. But he's played a hard game. He's been in the shooting lanes, and that's the way he has to play to be effective.
Puck comes to Yandel. He put a shot on the short side. Knocked down by the glove of Craig Anderson. The pitch into the corner. Moss went in after it. He and Vitale tried to dig it out. Shot it to the corner, and Phillips cleared it right in front of his own goal. Saw his man there, and he got out with it. Can he catch up to it? This is Mark Stone we're talking about. Did get the puck in. Zibanejad knocks his man down, but he couldn't reach the puck, and he fell. Stopped at the blue line. Don't Phillips might get a shot. Here it comes. And it's gloved by Smith, and he'll hang on to this.
Puck battles have been won by Ottawa all game. And another example here of a puck battle won, and then they get it back to the point. Low play. Nice puck protection there by Zibanejad. Another giveaway, and that's been a lot for Arizona. And then the shot for the point. And Stone saying, man, I wish I would have got in front of the goalie's eyes a little better than I did there on that Phillips attempt.
That's MacArthur now for Ottawa on the face-off. Vermette for the Coyotes. They control it all right. Ekman Larson threw it around his own goal. It got near the blue line. Getting on it was Mathot. Took his man, hit him 2 or 3 times. Not hard hits. Kept him off stride. Finally cleared down the ice by Ekman Larson. They don't control it going in. Trying to pick it up was Lesio. And now Vermette comes in with him. Comes loose along the boards. Carlson for Ottawa was right there. Batted the puck loose. Got a skate on it then. Flipped it out. It's not cleared. Shot came from the blue line, and the goalie had to be sharp. It went up high and hit the glass and comes right down on the ice for Lesio. Backed it up. Right there intercepting. That was Mathot. And it comes outside the line. So the Coyotes have the tag up, and they're going to change. Full scale. Ottawa turning back with fresh troops. And 6:45 left to play in the third. On they go. That's Legwand. Passed it off, and it's shot in deep by Count. Gagne was stopped in his tracks inside the blue line. They recovered and got it out and down the ice. Butler had it go off his stick, then he's knocked down. They're not getting any room, are they? These Senators are on top of them at every moment, especially in that defending zone for Ottawa. It comes along the boards and batted right to the goalie. He's going to clear it. Put it over on the boards and down the ice. Of course, that's going to be icing. Nobody near it at all, and they'll bring it back for the face-off, but Ottawa is still leading 4-1.
Well, congratulations to Bobby Ryan, who made the All-Star game, and Hoffman, who will do the rookie skills competition. Two good choices, but I don't know that I like the format. I mean, Carlson not in the All-Star game so far, PK Subban not in the All-Star game. They try to get players from each organization, and I'm not sure that's a good idea anymore.
Puck comes right off the face-off to the stick of the Ottawa Senators. And it's out and scooped down the ice by Conroy. Coyotes line up, and a bad pass right off the bat. Hoffman drilled it hard. Good thing it hit the defenseman's stick, took some steam off it, and went up high over the net. Gryba behind his own goal, saw his man, gave it to him. Right on the tape, these passes by Ottawa. Quite impressive. That last pass, not great. Picked off and cleared, and Erat gets down across the line. Takes a look over here, and he gives it to Chipchura. He didn't get a shot, but here comes one. Out comes the goal. He made 2 saves. Anderson knows when to leave the net, and he did that time, and he came out, made a dandy. 5:19 remaining.
We are just getting started on Hockey Night in Canada. Coming up, the late games. Calgary visits the Vancouver Canucks on CBC. Over on Sportsnet, the Jets face the Kings at Staples. Bob.
5 minutes and 19 seconds away from a victory for the Ottawa Senators here in Arizona. The shots are 28 by Ottawa, and the Coyotes have picked it up in that department. They have 32 shots on the clock, but just the one goal. It was the first goal of the game back at 4:31 of the first. Ottawa ever since. McCulloch power play. MacArthur, Hoffman, and Ceci here in the third period power play goal. So Ottawa's had 2 power play goals in the game. There's another big giveaway right to the stick of Mark Stone. Zibanejad comes up. Can't get the puck over on this side to McCulloch. Cleared out by Doan. Nobody in control, heading for that Ottawa blue line. Just cleared away. 4:36 remaining in the third period. Arizona is 0 for 5 in the game on the power play. Ottawa has scored 2 power play goals. Puck deep in the zone again. MacArthur pounding in there. Penalty going to be called against Arizona, as MacArthur is dropped in the corner. So with 4:14 remaining, going to be another power play for the Senators.
And Vitelli just rams him right into the boards. And they're going to call it holding.
Roughed him up pretty good. Holding is the call. He's gone for 2 or less, unless there are other penalties, of course.
A very frustrated Dave Tippett with this group. It's a young team, not a cap team by any means, and they need some help here in Arizona with this group. They need a little more. They're just plain not good enough yet.
Torres wins the draw back to the line for Ceci. Shot is fired wide by David Legwand. Kept in there though on this power play, and setting it up as Turris. Turris takes the rebound off the goalie, comes back a little bit, threw a pass into a crowd, right under the stick of his partner though. He gets the puck again. Turris looks at the net, sharp angle for him. Rolled into that blue ice, but nobody could poke it in on that short side. They still battled for it though. Mark Stone got his stick in on it again and played it back. MacArthur got it to the line. Over here is Ceci to the other side. And now the pass, where'll it go? Back to Ceci. Winds up. No shot. Played it ahead. MacArthur looks back to him. He just leaves it right there. Now it's knifed, and Ceci's going to miss it at the blue line, and it gets out. Hopped on him just before he was to put a stick down on it and steady it for a shot maybe. Now he has it again. He's covered this time though and won't get a chance to shoot it. Not that time anyway. Turris does. Nice save by Smith. 3:05 left to play in the third. Ceci having a good shift on this power play, made a dandy move at the side of his own net, hooked the puck out over the line to center, and Ceci is now headed off. Needs that break. Good work on that shift by Cody Ceci. Puck comes down to Anderson. He steps out of the net. 2:44 left. Mathot, he's strong tonight too. Dumps the puck in. Batted down at the side of the net, hooked away from harm's way by Gormley. The puck out and down the ice, and no icing, of course. Penalty time is down to 12 seconds. Ottawa hasn't had really any good chances. Looked like they were set up for some shots. They elected not to sometimes. Another shot's blocked. So they're back in over the line again, and now they're 2 for 5 on the power play as the penalty is done. And Arizona gets it out and down the ice, led by Vitale. Along the boards, dumped it into the corner. Cowan was there, left it there, and whipped around the boards by Chiasson. Doesn't get out. Knocked down and cleared quickly by Ryan. Not quite outside the line. And now Chiasson turns around with it. 1:45 remaining. Chiasson with the puck. Leaves it back there. 1:38 to go. Ottawa skating to a victory here in Phoenix tonight. A 4-1 lead. 2 power play goals in the fourth, and a look out. A save by Smith. The glove up, taking that high, hard shot by the youngster Curtis Lazar.
He's getting a little more ice time now as this game is pretty much put away for the Ottawa Senators. And I like the way Coach Cameron's kind of using him and breaking him in a little bit after coming off the World Juniors. And there's his first good chance of the game. I love this kid, the way he's smiling all the time and enjoying the game. And that is something that you really like about an athlete and a young athlete with all that enthusiasm. That's the way it should be.
Ottawa in full control now. Ceci made a little short pass ahead. It gets in around that net. Smith down on all fours, watching the play in front of him. Cleared to the line, and they get it out and down the ice. Nice shot from Lesio. He tried to go around the net with it and was caught. Knocked down at the blue line, though, by Michael Stone. Put it deep, hit the side of the net. The goalie saw it. Heard it first, and then looked down and saw it. We are in the final minute of the third period. 50 seconds left as the Coyotes come on. Dumped in across the line and in deep by Chris Summers. But the Sens are coming out again. Lazar moves over the line, hooked it on the boards and keeps going. Fast-moving youngster Curtis Lazar, number 27, got the puck in there. Played back by Condra, backhanded off the boards in deep again by Mathot. Lazar in there, he tried to get something on it, but he was covered too well. Shot behind the net. That'll be Murphy who'll pick it up and play it ahead. 15 seconds, all that's left. Good play by Condra to stop that clearing shot. And it's knocked down by Legwand. He gets a shot, scores! Well, a giveaway inside the line by these young Coyotes. And David Legwand takes advantage of that. And with 7 seconds remaining, he makes it 5-1 Ottawa.
And another turnover as the Senators are doing an excellent job hunting down the puck. And there is the turnover right there in 5-hole, and a bad goal on Mike Smith to seal the deal for the Ottawa Senators. And that is one area that Smith has been beat a ton on this year, right at 5-hole. And that's the way his season has been going.
Legwand in on the play, coming off the bench, really fresh. It's an unassisted goal because of the giveaway, and he made no mistake. And that's all she wrote in Phoenix tonight. The shots 31-32 in favor of the Coyotes. But it was a 5-1 win for the Ottawa Senators.
Arizona wasn't even close in this game as the Ottawa Senators dominated completely from start to finish. Greiba with some wonderful penalty killing, shot blocking, Anderson solid, and the youngster Huffman was flying again tonight in this game.
So Hoffman, Greiba, and Anderson, your stars. That'll do it in Arizona tonight. Big win for Ottawa, 5-1.